I'll try
Welcome to
and.
episode 3 of UAV Chat. This evening I've got with me Dave Jones from the drone group Drone Flies GB and Beyond. Hi, Dave.
Hi, how are we doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
I know that these are kind of difficult times at the moment, and I guess like you, or like me, I should say, that you're not being able to get out much flying with what we're now going into national lockdown again.
No, it's obviously very difficult. I mean, I'm a little bit lucky in where we live. I mean, I could fly, but I choose not to, because I don't want to upset the neighbours. So I've got the Mavic Mini 2 now, which allows me to fly locally, as it were, because we have open fields behind us. But to be honest with you, I just don't feel it's the right thing to do at the moment, so I choose not to. I've got other camera equipment, and I shall be using that. So it's not as though I'm without a camera. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is. I know that you put a post up about not actually flying within the lockdown. I mean, as it stands, that we're not allowed to really leave our location, and flying a drone at the moment is actually designated not allowed to do unless you're commercial, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it for a living, I think that's a different matter. I would question some of the shots that I've seen on other forums that, are they necessarily doing it for their living? I don't know. I mean, we'll never know, because at the end of the day, Facebook is Facebook.
Yeah.
But I've taken the view with the group that I really don't want to be seen to be encouraging it. At the end of the day, exercise is exercise, and it's not standing in the field twiddling your thumbs. And basically, the government have said as much. So from that point of view, I think it's wrong to do so. Now, they may sort of relax a little, like they have done with angling a bit. But as things stand at the moment, the guidance is quite clear, as you've mentioned in the post that I put up about recreation and leisure. You're not allowed to go out and do that. For example, you can't wander across the golf course with a golf club in your hand playing golf. You're not allowed to do that. You can walk across the golf course, but you can't play golf. So with that analogy, I think it's wrong that people, hobby flyers particularly, to be out there flying with the potential, if you like, of injuring someone if the drone should come down, and putting our emergency services under even more pressure. So from that point of view, that's a standpoint that I've taken with the group for the moment. I'm not saying that won't change, in a few weeks or whatever, or in a few days. If the guidance changes, we'll go along with what the guidance says. So I think that's the right approach, to be honest with you, Andy.
That's the whole issue, because I know that for both of us it's quite a struggle. I know that you're shielding and I've been shielding and what have you. But
Yeah.
let's talk about drones, because that's what we're.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get away from the series. We're getting into a bit of fun.
Tell me, when did you first start flying drones?
It would be, let me think, around 4 years ago, Andy. It all started with a kiss, funnily enough.
Not Lego.
Yeah, I'll go into detail. Now, I kind of picked up on the hobby when I had a motorbike, or a trike, and a couple of guys I got to meet had a drone then. I thought, well, that looks like fun, and it caught that sort of sowed the seed, as it were. Mentioned it to my dear wife, and lo and behold, for a Christmas present, a Seamer X5 turned up.
Yeah.
And that was my first drone. And I said that'd be about 4 years ago. So that certainly sowed the seed.
Brilliant.
And that's why I got into the hobby, really. It started with a kiss, a Christmas morning kiss, and there you are. There's a present for you.
Well, I mean, going back 2 years ago, I think it was about then that you started the Facebook group up, Drone Flies GB and Beyond, and you were very successful in actually getting pilots together to have meets and flying. I think that was, I know it's an inspiration to me and quite a few guys down in the Southwest, because we set up a smaller group as well, and sadly we only got one go at it. But yeah, I mean, what sort of inspired you to the idea of getting people together?
Well, in fact, I'd always wanted to do that. It's one of the purposes of the group is to sort of make friends with people that they're into the hobby, as it were, and get to pick their brains, if you like. So that was basically my idea to start the group to begin with. But living where we live, right on the Welsh border, I thought, well, there's an opportunity here. And lo and behold, Steve Pooley contacted me and said, well, bring a few guys over to my place. And that's how it started, hence the ballad trips, etc. I think our first get together, we had 9 of us there. In fact, it's less than that, it's 4 or 5 of us. And then we organised something through the group page. I think we had about 9 on the first one. And then the last one, there was 39 of us.
39. Wow.
39, yes. So yeah, it was
quite at the same time, I take it.
Yes. It was interesting. Yeah, it was good fun. Again, we had loads of space, and we were organised, lots of distance between us. We weren't actually all up in the air at the same time. I think the maximum we got in the air at the same time was about 12, from memory. But again, we were spaced up the shoreline of Bala Lake, and had the drones up. So if the drones were going to fall, the only place we were going to go to was in the lake. So from that point of view, no one was in any risk or danger. But yeah, we've had some great meets, which is what I wanted to do, of course, last year again, is get some more meets going. But because of COVID again, this couldn't happen, But let's hope for later on this year, perhaps we'll organise something else again.
Yeah, I mean, there was, after the end of the first lockdown, I managed to get together with 2 guys, Ollie and Paul, from the Southwest. I'm sure they'll be watching this later on. Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Program on the second episode that I did. And I mean, we want to do the exactly same thing. And there was lots of people that actually were interested at the time and wanted to get to do it. But like you say, COVID overtook that. Let's talk about the Mini 2.
This little baby here. I happen to have one in my hand.
Now, the Mini 1, I know. I haven't got the Mini. I've only watched YouTube videos and sort of done my own kind of research and things. And I know that with Mini 1, there was a lot of problems with the fact that it was Wi-Fi, and that you couldn't get very far away. I do have some issue with that, which we'll go into a bit later. But now this one's got some OxySync 2, I believe.
Yeah, OxySync 2 on it, yeah.
So how you found it?
Yeah, it's a great little drone. I mean, I'll be completely honest. When I opened the box up, my initial impressions was I wasn't impressed. I took it out of the box and I thought, geez, this is never going to hold up to wind, or it's going to blow about everywhere, and all the blades are flimsy, or I don't like the build quality, and I was quite negative with it in a lot of ways. But then when I looked at it more closely, and actually sort of not stripped it down, but put it under the microscope, so to speak, I was actually quite impressed. I noticed straight away that the camera on it is very similar to the pocket cameras, the Osmo Pockets.
Oh, right.
which inspired me to buy the Osmo 2 Pocket last week, in fact. Very similar cameras, the same specs. But what swung it for me, Andy, was the OxySync 2, was the connection issues. When the Mavic Mini came out originally, straight away I was put off by Wi-Fi because of connection issues. It's not so much the distance I was interested in, it's being able to keep control of the aircraft without disconnect. So OxySync actually swung it for me. First time up in the air, 20 mile an hour winds, and it held up really well. I wouldn't push it much further than that, to be honest with you. But yeah, 20 mile an hour winds, and it was stable in the air, much like the Mavic 2 Pro, to be honest with you. In comparison, I would compare it, picture quality, etc., very much to the Mavic Pro, the first Mavic Pro, that is, in terms of, it's got some good little features on there. Discovered one thing straight away with it. It's got panorama mode on it. And initially those images were awful, unusable in DNG files. The JPEGs weren't too bad. But they've updated the firmware now, which seems to have fixed most of those issues, although there's still one or two. But overall, yeah, it's a great little drone. Will I recommend it? Yes.
Does it do raw images?
Yes, yes, it does. The one thing that I perhaps don't like, I don't like shooting JPEGs at all. I always shoot in RAW, and you can't separate them. So, you know, it's a JPEG stroke RAW download, if you like. So you're having to download JPEGs, which I don't like doing. I just shoot in RAW, but they're there, I suppose. If you want to post quickly up onto Facebook or whatever, you can. You know, you just pop them straight up.
Yeah.
But the raw files are good, easy to work with. I'm sure you've seen some of Phil Cooley's pictures that he's been taking on the group. You know, he's getting some really nice shots, and I know Phil Cooley is a guy that has taught me a lot over the last 2 or 3 years, and he knows what he's doing with the camera. So, you know, that's enough for me to tell me, yeah, you can get good shots out of it.
And he uses his own app. He doesn't use the Go4 app, does it?
It's called DJI Fly App, which I think it's shared with the DJI Air.
Right.
So you've got the Air 2, yeah. It's basically a stripped down version of DJI Go 4.
Right.
Very similar. I mean, you've got shutter control, so you haven't got aperture control. 4K video, of course, which was another reason why I wanted to get the Mini. Or the Mini 2 rather. Yeah, I mean, it's a stripped down version of the Go 4. I had 1 or 2 issues with it with video feed, which I did that little video about a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
But again, that's seems to have been sorted out with the firmware. And also, I think my upgrade to the iPad Mini 5 that I subsequently purchased, my iPad Mini 4 was getting a little bit old, and the CPU was filling up really quickly. Very much like the DJI Go 4 app, the DJI Fly app is power hungry.
Right.
So I think, yeah, if you've got old tablets or phones, you may well struggle with video feeds. So I'll just flag that up to people so that they're aware of that. So if you're buying a Mini or a drone, come to a DJI drone, bear in mind if you've got old equipment you're going to run alongside it, be careful because you may have issues.
And I noticed also that the controller is about the size of the Mini itself as well, isn't it?
It's actually bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly heavier. Actually, lengthwise, I'm just comparing it now. I don't know if you can see that. Lengthwise, yeah, it's slightly bigger. The controller is really comfortable in the hand. And I like the fact that the antenna, which are the front here, which I'm pointing out, I hope you can see that.
Yeah.
That pulls out of the, hang on, let me just dismantle this, I can show you. So that folds down flat into the body of the RC.
Right.
But I like to fly with an iPad Mini, mainly because of my eyes. You know, you can see I wear glasses.
Yeah.
So I use the Skytree tablet holder with this. I had to purchase a longer lead for it, and I just plugged it into the side of the iPad. But the beauty of this, of course, is you've got the controls body side, if you like, and the screen facing it, which come the summer, all being well, you know, you can put a hood on or whatever you need. So, you know, from my point of view, you're not going to get reflections or anything like that. So, yeah, no, it's great, really comfortable. Again, very basic.
Ability to fit a camera strap to the controller, like the smart.
Yeah, I mean, it's not actually on the controller itself, but on the tablet mount there is a function. In fact, I've got it here somewhere. Let me just see if I can see it. No, I'll put it away now. Yeah, there is a point there where you could mount a lanyard, which I will be doing, obviously.
Yeah.
The Skytree one, if you order it on through Amazon, etc., it will come with a lanyard. So ideal. Just it's around your neck, you can't drop it. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I would say to people is if they're going to go for the Mini, just be careful where you do fly. If you're over the sea, for example, which can be quite windy or whatever, I think anything over 20 miles an hour, it's going to push it around a bit. So, just be aware of that.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, this drone's come out because it comes under the category for under 250 grams.
Yeah.
And with the new ESA regulations now, which are live, people have obviously got this drone for Christmas and they're charging up and they're going straight out in the middle of the streets and what have you. What's your feelings about that?
Well, I mean, provided they follow the rules, I haven't got an issue with it. But what I've noticed so far, again, across Facebook, is there are a lot of new flyers there that simply aren't doing what they should be doing, which is read the manual.
Yeah.
If they read the manual, they get the pointers. I mean, they're putting things wraps on the drones. So they're altering the if you like, the body of the drone, and that subsequently could, I'm not saying it would, take it over the 250 grams. It's not adhering, if you like, to what's in the manual. So any warranty on the drone would be null and void. If you were to have an accident, God forbid, and hit somebody with it, it's an out, if you like, provided they've taken out insurance, that the insurance company may not pay out, or you've modified that drone and it's not a DJI approved modification. So people need to be really careful what they're doing with these. I mean, particularly as there's no specified distance now in the A1 category, which you can fly these under.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, keep the damn things standard would be my advice. Don't mess about with them and read the manual. It's as simple as that. And obviously follow the codes.
Yeah.
Follow what the rules are. I mean, they're not difficult.
This is where my problem is with this drone. Under the rules, you cannot fly higher than 400 feet and cannot fly more than a maximum of 500 meters. Yeah. I'm sure you would agree with me that even at 150 meters, you're going to be struggling to see that drone. And people are not aware that if you cannot see that drone, then you are not flying in the visual line of sight. This is very regulation. Exactly.
500 meters is what EASA and CAA, because they're our police, if you like, are saying is maximum distance. Well, I can tell you now, when I take mine out 500 feet, 600 feet, that's enough. Yeah. I can still see its orientation, but anything further than that, sorry, I'm not losing sight of it necessarily, but it becomes a dot. And for me, it's not about distance with these things. It's about signal strength back to the remote controller. I bought this drone so I can do some close-up stuff as and when it's appropriate. Without worrying about trying to get my Mavic 2 Pro tied up in a tree or whatever to get that shot. For me, it's about perhaps doing some shots in a town or a village or whatever that are safe and closer than I can get with the Mavic 2 Pro. People are buying the Mini 2 with the idea that they can fly it out, a mile, 2 miles or whatever. Well, don't do it. That's not what the distance, if you like, means. What it means is, yes, you've got good signal strength. I'm flying within the regulations. You know, if you can't see you trying to 500 meters, you're breaking the rules. End of.
I mean, people are fitting things like sort of strobes so that they can just make that visual line of sight. Again, like you say about sort of adding weight, you're not. I mean, because it's not based on the weight of the drone on a table. It's based on the takeoff weight.
It's a flying weight, isn't it? Yes.
And yeah. I mean, I was actually doing some research to see if there was anywhere I could find the calculation to work out what the mass takeoff weight is. And there is a video that goes through how to work it out. It's very, very complicated. And
I think with the Mini 2s, they call it flying weight rather than maximum takeoff weight.
Yeah.
So I forget all these initials. I've got a little strobe, a Flytron Street to put on the back of this, and that purely as an aid. I mean, I'm the sort of flyer I'm not a nervous flyer, but I'm a cautious flyer.
Yeah.
I haven't put the strobe on yet, and I probably won't, to be honest with you. My disappointment with the Mini, if there is any, is that the lights are weak.
Yeah.
Which doesn't help when you're trying to maintain line of sight.
Yeah. That's where the sales point comes in on this drone, though, isn't it? Because when DJI do their fancy filming and what have you, it gives that impression that you can do these amazing things for this drone.
Yeah.
Actually, it's about doing it close quarter, not 200, 500 meters away. This is about close quarter flying, and to buy it as your first drone to fly as like within the CAA regulations, you have to balance it by looking at the fact that you need one to be able to see it first before you go to the maximum distance. That's where I think that people are falling down. I mean, they keep asking questions about, you know, how can I do this or what? And other people have obviously have tried flying the drone as far as possible as they do, and they obviously those videos they turn up on the group pages get dismissed quite quickly because we just don't want to get new drone pilots into this idea that this Mini can do exactly what you can do with a Mavic Pro or an Aspire, because you can't. It's not designed for that. So that's where the problem is.
Yeah,
and you mentioned as well that a lot of people probably do not or will not take out public liability insurance.
Yeah, I had this discussion, or say discussion. I did comment on the post on another forum today about that. I personally, if you own a drone, you should have insurance. Full stop. And that's my view on that. I think, and I'm sure sooner or later that's going to happen. You know, the CAA are going to say, "Well, I'm sorry, we've had all these Minis crashing out of the sky, hitting cars or hitting people, you know, injuring people. It's now a requirement that all drone flyers should have public liability insurance." And if you join something like the BMFA or FPV, you know, it's included in the cost of membership. Yeah. So for 30 quid or whatever it is to join the BMFA, at least you've got something to protect the public. You know, and to back you up. Yeah, if you lose your drone, you lose your drone. You know, and it won't be covered under that sort of policy. But at least if you hurt somebody, or you know, or damage property, or damage a vehicle, or whatever, at least you've got some callback. I mean, I'm sure people don't want to be sued and prosecuted for privately for money because they've flown into something. You know, so. You know, it would make sense that hobby flyers and all flyers actually had some form of insurance.
Yeah,
it makes sense to me.
I mean, I know with the Mavic Pro, I mean, I've seen some nasty images of where people have tried to catch the drone. And then again, it's another thing with the Mavic Pro Mini is that people were trying to catch the drone. These blades can seriously, even though they're very thin, they're very sharp and they're excessive speeds. And if they lose control of this drone or they're out for the first time and they've got people around them and what have you, and it does hit someone, in a case where only a couple of days ago or last week where somebody I saw posted that they crashed their drone and then said, if I get in contact with an insurance company, can I put a claim? No, you can't. You need to have the insurance before you put a claim in. Don't do the accident and then the claim afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, join an association. You know, BMFA is one. You know, your insurance is there. You're covered. Even if you don't.
UK, I think it's £5 million. Public liability is £19 for the year. I mean,
it's not expensive, is it? No. They're spending sort of 500 quid on the drone. You know, another 20 quid's nothing, is it? You know. So yeah, guys. You know, if you're not insured, do something. Get it covered. At least if you hurt somebody, you know, at least they can get some compensation out of you. Get yourselves insured.
That's the thing. We just want to make sure that, you know, I mean, people that are watching this and, you know, just got a Mini for the first time, please listen to what we're saying. We have been flying for quite some time. I mean, moving forward, I know that you've done your A2 CFC course. I can do it before Christmas. Are you looking hopefully to be able to use that certificate? I mean, obviously, because it allows us to actually fly the Mavic Pro 2 in congested areas, but not over uninvolved people.
Yeah, it doesn't actually. It's separation distances, the Mavic 2 Pro. I mean, the reason I do it is because the style of flying that I do. I mean, I fly, as you know, in the countryside.
Yeah.
But old castles, etc. What the A2 for me, what it does for me, it allows me to get within 50 meters of a structure.
Yeah.
And that's why I did it. That's the bottom line. That's with the Mavic 2 Pro. Obviously, with the Mini, I can get a lot closer under the A1 category. I want to be able to fly in the A2 category rather than be 150 meters away from the subject I want to shoot. I actually, before I invested in the Mini 2, I got the Mavic 2 Pro up in the air, took a picture of myself at 50 meters and then at 150 meters. And absolutely pointless trying to get a subject in frame at 150 meters with any drone, unless you've got a hell of a zoom on it. So,
unless you're wearing a fluorescent jacket.
Yeah. So from my point of view, you know, the A2 is so that I can fly in the A2 category, and not be stuck with the A3. I mean, the A3 is pretty much what we were flying in before, you know, in terms of the old regulations. So, yeah, I think the new regulations are good. We're getting reduced distances. When we have compliant drones, of course, those distances will come down again. Yeah. I may or may not upgrade my drones. It just depends, you know, how mine are performing at the time. But at least with what I've got, I can shoot what I want now. Certainly for the next couple of years, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I think the A2 is going to be backlash for the commercial drone pilots.
Not for the good ones.
No.
I think that the weaker professional operators, those that haven't got a business plan, for example, those who've done it because they think they can go out and sell prints at, you know, in shop windows or whatever, I think they may struggle because they're going to be up against competition, as it were.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have a lot of good members, for instance, in our group who have got secure contracts, know what they're doing, been doing it for a number of years, are good at what they're doing. They've got their own specialisms. No, I don't think they're going to be threatened. I think the ones that operate at the bottom end, if you like, it's not the bottom end per se, but those who want to sell pictures, who are paid for their PFCOs, yes, they're going to be under some more competition. Yeah. But overall, I think it will settle down. I think there's more people like you and me, Andy, who want the A2 so that we can get the shots that we want. Yeah. It's not so much about how much we can sell them for to turn it into a business. I mean, at my age, it's the last thing I want to do. I've got enough on my plate without starting another business. So from that point of view, now, the weak ones are going to struggle perhaps, but I think that those that are established, no.
I mean, even with the idea, because we're talking about legacy drones, because like you say, the C-class drones are not on the market. So anybody that is thinking that they can use the Mavic Pro Platinum or Pro 2 to do roof surveys for scaffolding companies, you have to realize that the uninvolved people also are included, that people that live in houses. So if you're going to go down that road, you're going to have to kind of talk to the people that are employing you or setting up the contract to say, you've got to go knocking on the doors and say, it's okay, we're going to fly a drone over this roof 50 meters down the road. That's how it is. And I don't think there is really going to be that many people that are going to go out there and try and do that. I think, like you, I mean, I have a website. If someone likes a piece of work that I've done for myself, and they want to buy a print, then by all means, I'm happy to sell them a print. That's the only reason why, like you, is so that I could get closer and cover my city and other cities, and to have that composition that you just can't get being on the ground with a camera. I think that's what it is for me, getting the A2.
Absolutely. Yeah. To be honest with you, I think certainly within our group, the majority are clearly hobby flyers, and clearly a lot of them have already done the A2 or are about to do it, the A2 COC. But all of them, I think, pretty well are hobby flyers and will remain that way. Yeah. It's all about these distances. The last thing I want to be doing, and I'm sure that I speak for a lot of the members, is going out photographing gutters, or doing roofs. I don't see any pleasure in that whatsoever. Is
there any money in it, to be truthful?
No. So. I think it's a time for people to get creative. It's an opportunity to get creative. Do your A2 CFC, get creative, build some content up onto YouTube, and do it that way. Don't try and compete with the big boys, because you won't get in there.
Well, you've led me on to my final question to you, which is this new project that you're now working on. You set up the Drone Flyers GB Beyond YouTube channel.
Yes, yeah.
What about that?
Well, the thinking behind that is that, as you know, we've got a DFGB website, and it's stale, and to get people to go to a website per se is difficult. Now, I could have spent a lot of time carrying on building that. We have a sister website as well to that, which links into the YouTube channel, without going into the technicalities. But it's a way of marketing, if you like, the group. Not marketing, but promoting the group through the second website that we've got. The whole idea behind the channel is because on Facebook, if you post a video up or you post a picture up, 2 weeks later you can't find the damn thing.
Yeah.
With a YouTube channel, it's all there in one place.
Yeah.
So my way of thinking is, and it's a shout out now to all the members, that if anyone would like to do some tutorials, submit some content for the channel, please do, give me a shout, because that's the way I see the channel developing, where we can have a permanent, if you like, library of both content that we've all gone out and shot, or tutorials, which I think is quite important, particularly now with the new regs and things. So if somebody would like to do us a video, so we can use it on our channel, that'd be fantastic. There's only so much I can do as an individual, but things like tutorials, Lightroom, Photoshop, DaVinci Resolve, etc. Excuse me. And, let's try and build the channel up for the benefit of the membership. That was my idea behind it.
I've got a few things I've done in Photoshop before, and I mean, talking about sort of softwares. I mean, Lightroom, and I know there are plenty of apps out there. I know some people use apps on their iPad or iPad Mini to edit that work. Again, if you guys are doing that and you're using a specific piece of software or app, then let Dave know. What we're going to do is we're going to put links down to the bottom of this YouTube episodes for Dave's Facebook group and for the channel, and then also the website as well, just to help Dave out. And like I say, it's really sort of helping everybody get where they want to get to, but safely. The idea with the UAV chat show is to talk to guys like you that have been flying for some time, and also commercial pilots, so that they can give their expertise. I mean, Ollie was absolutely brilliant telling us about the projects he's been working on. And I don't want to stress again about lockdown, but we could be in this till March. So the more kind of things that we can do to work together on different projects helps us all out, helps us mentally. I know I've struggled over the past couple of months, personally, with everything mentally with what's gone on. But yeah, I think it's a great idea what you're doing with the YouTube channel, and I'm sure hopefully, we can get some people interested into doing that.
I'd just like to actually, just before we finish off, Andy, is just thank the guys that have already partaked and sent me their videos, which there's a few up on the site now, on the YouTube channel now. Everyone, please go and have a look at them and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. There's some good content there. All we've done is put our logo at the front and at the end to try and steer people towards the group. So, if you've got I don't know, a storyboard or something, or a what do they call them now, Andy? A show reel. Let me know, and let me know, and we'll get them up onto the channel for you.
I mean, I'm sure that lots of people have got old videos that they've done over the last couple of years, or back last year, or even the year before, that they could put things together. And like you say, it gives them something to do while we're all under lockdown at the moment. Thank you ever so much for your time this evening, Dave.
You're welcome, Andy.
I know that you haven't been too well, and please look after yourself. And you're doing a great job with the Facebook page and all the work that you do with that. And just to kind of emphasize with new drone pilots, please, if you are buying any kind of drone, please read up about the regulations, or either go to the Facebook groups. There are plenty of articles and people that are willing to help you to explain to you how it's meant to work. But please do think about taking out insurance. I think this is a really important thing with the Mavic Mini, because of what you can do with it and where you can go with it. And if you can't control that drone, and you have an accident and you haven't got that insurance, you're going to be in problems. So it's just really a word of advice to those out there to sort of it is cheap. I mean, and Dave will probably agree with me. 2 years ago, we were moaning about paying £9 to register our drones. Now we're talking about doing courses and taking out insurance and what have you. So it's not a lot of money. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, spot on.
Right. Thank you, Dave. Have a good evening. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and we will be doing another episode soon. We've got a few people lined up, and keep watching. Thank you for watching.